Sanmonan Igamala Mutando. Apparently, I promised the trusted viewers a coming up video and never delivered. I was ready to rubbish these claims, but they have receipts, so I can't deny. So here we are, about to do a my coming out story video. It took a whole plague for me to do this. You can thank Corey for that. I think the main reason why I've never wanted to do a coming out story video is because my coming out story is not particularly linear. First of all, as a feminine presenting lesbian, coming out is reoccurring in your life. And then secondly, coming out to my family, which is what I think people usually mean when they are requesting you to do a coming out video. It wasn't dramatic. I was 27, I was a grown-up, so it was a grown-up conversation between two adults. I mentioned it very matter-of-factly, like I was telling her my name that she gave me and my ID number. It wasn't up for debate. I wasn't looking for acceptance. I was grown up, confident, and sure enough of myself that her reaction was kind of inconsequential. It wasn't going to change me. It wasn't going to change my thoughts or my attraction to women. Nothing that she could have done or said was going to change what I was telling her. So me coming out was basically me coming out to my mom. I grew up in a household with both parents. They were married and then they divorced when I was 14, turning 15, grade 11. Thank God. And then my mother moved me and my sisters back to her home, and she continued to raise us from then on. She absolutely opened a line of communication between my father and us, but he wasn't interested. So over the years, I've also grown disinterested in the relationship, so he's cancelled. And so really, if I was looking for any kind of validation and acceptance, it would have been from the woman who raised me, my heroine, my be it and be all, my anchor, love of my life. Love that woman. And I say I love that woman because I approached the situation the same way. I wanted her to approach the situation as though I'm another woman, another human being. Obviously, it's super hard to divorce the relationship of mother and daughter, but at the same time, I think it was very helpful for her to come in, for both of us to come at it from a human basis. So one day my mom came up to Johannesburg to visit me. At the time I was living with my sister in a 1-bedroom cottage, and the room was big enough for 2 beds, so we both shared this bedroom, and she had her own bed and I had my own bed. And my sister, I think that time, was back home, so they kind of swapped around. My mom came up and my sister was back in Pietermaritzburg, and it was just the two of us in this small little cottage. And one day my mom had been reading some book or something, and I came back from work, and then she was like, "Can I talk to you?" And I'm like, "Oh snap, what's this about?" Then she proceeded to first apologize for the failed marriage that she put us through, which she didn't have to in my books, but I think for her own closure, for her own sanity, for her own peace, I think she needed to have that conversation. And mostly it was because she told me about an incident with my little sister that she had spoken to her about, and after that, my sister stopped struggling with something that she had been struggling with before. So she was like, "So your little sisters have boyfriends and you have never brought a boy home. There's never been whispers of you having a boyfriend. And if that's because of the divorce, I want to set you free so you can know that, just because my marriage failed doesn't mean that your relationships with boys or a marriage in the future will fail." And I said that, I was like, "Oh, that's amazing." And it was very heartfelt. We were both crying, but now we're crying about just the past and what we've been through as a family, as mother and daughters, because she's got 2 other daughters. And I think I felt comfortable and good enough to open up because she had been so vulnerable with me. And before we've never had really a vulnerable emotional relationship. So I was like, no, just, to set you free. I mean, thanks for apologizing. I don't think I needed the apology, but I mean, if it does something for you, I'm glad that we could have this talk. However, the reason why I don't have a boyfriend is because I am a homosexual. And her immediate reaction, she gasped. She actually did this. And And then literally a split second later, she was like, oh, okay. And then I told her, oh, and I have a girlfriend, and this is her name, this is how long we've been together. And then she was like, oh, okay, cool, I've known. And I just didn't want to acknowledge it until you told me. And I was like, oh. And then she continued to tell me she's very proud of me and she's proud of the daughter that she's raised. I am a very respectable and respectful person, and I must just walk tall on these streets knowing that she loves me dearly and she's very proud of who I am. And that's my coming out story. Now you would think that because I've had such an amazing and beautiful reception from my mother, which really should be the only thing that matters, that I would walk tall and proud because my mom has said those words unto the world. However, I found myself really struggling with the re-coming out that I have had to do because I'm feminine presenting into the world. But for some internalized homophobia or internalized, I don't know, self-doubt, self-sabotage, whatever it is, I still struggle a little bit with walking the earth loud and proud about my gayness. This channel has done quite a great deal of like allowing me to kind of spread my wings and be free and less ashamed of myself, but I'm still struggling with coming out on a daily basis. Just recently I got a new job. I've been working for a different company for a very long time, and only about 6 months ago did I change jobs. And during the interview process, I remember, I think it's pretty common for the interviewer to ask you if you're married or if you have family, so that they know, you know, this is the person that we're dealing with. This person is going to have like a kid that has mums some days, or a kid whose nanny doesn't show up some days. So this is the person we're dealing with. They have a husband at home waiting for them, or whatever the case is. So she asked me if I am married. Now, she didn't even ask if you're married to a woman, or she just asked if you're married. And I said, no, I'm no husband for me yet. And she just looked at me and she was like, oh, okay, cool. And then the other guy said, oh, someday. And I was like, yeah, just not now. And in hindsight, I think I was doing that just to let them know that I am hireable because I'm not gay. And no one even asked about that, only to get the job. And on day one of the induction, literally 30% of the office is homosexual, loud and proud. And the woman was asking me about it is also gay. How embarrassing. How embarrassing. Embarrassed. And I actually think she knew before that I was a homosexual. So, double embarrassing. Another environment that I felt shame or like I couldn't be my full self was the church. So in the church, I've had to kind of figure out which people I'm close with. Because I'm not necessarily hiding it, but I'm also not confirming, you know. And it's weird because the church that I go to is definitely affirming, even though it's not condoning, whatever that means. So even in the church, like if people ask, or if there's like questions of marriage, I'll be out here, yeah, single ladies, knowing full well they're not asking about my singlehood while it's intertwined with my homosexuality, but I'll be like, hi, because I'm straight passing, and I don't know why I think people can't see. In the church, I've had to just, you know, assess who's with me, who's against me, who am I comfortable around, who can I be free with. And weirdly enough, I mean, I've brought my girlfriend at the time to the church, and it's not like I'm hiding it. I'll be on Instagram just being my free self. I'll be on here on YouTube, and it's not like any of these platforms are blocked. If somebody's looking for it or bumps into it, they're gonna see it. It's just I'm not comfortable being the one who has to be like, hey, you know, I'm representing the homosexuals up in here. And yeah, I think I'm comfortable with that. If you ask, I won't deny, but in certain spaces, I'm also not forthcoming with that information because sometimes it's just none of your business. So yeah, that's my coming out story. And I'm doing this also because I realize it's helpful to some people, and some people really want to know how to go about it. And after you hearing my story, I think you have realized, whoever you are that's watching this, that one, before I came out, I made sure that I was safe. I made sure that I was comfortable and confident enough to do it, that whatever the repercussions, whether it be being disowned, whether it be being chased out of home, and then starving and not having backup, I had support, you know. So regardless of what the outcomes might have been, when I told my mother, who I knew was, she's a sweet, beautiful, incredible, amazing, squishy, wishy, beautiful, amazing mother. She's the type of mom who, like, she uses terms of endearment, unana, mkhulu, gogo, like she uses those words. Like, if she was comfortable with being affectionate, she'd probably be the kind of mom who kisses you on the lips, but she's not affectionate like that. But she's right up there. So I knew, coming at her from a human perspective, she would never react badly. So I suggest that for you too, before you go coming out, especially if you're younger. I know I have a lot of young viewers. Make sure you are safe, make sure you have backup in case, you know, things go south. Some parents won't be as accepting as mine, and so I really urge you to think clearly about it. It took me until I was 28 to be able to be comfortable and sure enough. Not to say that you're not sure because you're young, but just to say it was so much more easier to walk into it without any kind of expectations. And if things did go south, I have my own place, I pay my own bills, and really all that would be left for you to do is just work on the relationship between your loved one, whoever it be, whether it be uncle or mom or whomever, or sister. So yeah, that's all I have to say about that. I'm sorry it took the Rona for us to get here, but we're here. So I hope you enjoyed it. In the comment section, I would like to hear your coming out stories, especially if you don't have a YouTube channel, so I can't watch that. Seeing as how you heard mine, let us share. Okay, thank you so much for watching this video. I will see you in the next one. Mwah! Bye-bye.